Hey guys, so we've had another little break in the weather. I've got my seeds at the ready and I'm ready to plant. Let's do this. Right, so I'm just putting on my really hard and crusty gloves. They actually went with me to the Homestead property and did a bit of labor there. So today the plan is to start a couple of seeds, not only for this garden but for that garden as well, over the summer period, so we can hedge our bets and transition into the other garden while keeping up with this garden. So I'm just clearing up this area for those seeds to start. I have a lot of the things that I need here already, which is nice, but now it's really just a matter of setting it up in a way that everything has a space so I can physically see what I've got and what I can plant. You know, when that opportunity comes and you've been saying the whole time, oh, well, what would you grow on your piece of land? And my response would be, all the things. Now I'm planting all the things. And I'm super stoked about it. I have these 3 bags of germination mix. I don't think this is going to be nearly enough, but I do have some compost. So what I may do is, in the larger containers, I'll fill them with compost, and then I will just add some germination mix and then plant the seed into the germination mix, maybe in like little sections. So I'm currently on a mission to plant out as many seeds as I possibly can in this space. And I like this configuration. I think when I water it, nothing's going to slide off of this table. It will do. It'll do. So I'm not only planting seeds for this garden, but I'm also planting seeds for the Homestead garden as well. So what I think I might do now is just quickly see roughly if I have the space for everything that I want to plant. Right, so these are the seeds I've got out in front of me. Let me walk you through it. In these 2 containers here, I'm going to be growing onions. So these are early Texans and those are Australian browns. Then on this tray, I'm going to be doing duplicate sowings. So I am going to be sowing calendulas twice, and I'm also going to be sowing broccoli twice. I'm only going to do 1 tray of cauliflower, 1 tray of mustard greens, 1 tray of Swiss chard, the four-dog giant, 1 of the purple bush beans. Then these are a cherry tomato mix, because I think we may have enough of a season to get some decent cherry tomato yields. And then over here, I have another variety of cherry tomatoes that I'd like to give another go. In these 3 little containers over here, I'll be planting some loofah seeds. They are notoriously difficult to grow, but I'm going to give them a shot anyway. Then over here in this container, I've got some green noodles, some Bloody Mary, nasturtiums, more beans this side in a lazy housewife variety, as well as some amethyst dwarf beans, basil, parsley. One of these will be green beans mixed. One of these will be garlic chives. Right, so now that I've got all my seeds selected and I'm ready to get started, let's go fetch that compost and then we'll start with the actual germination mix. Right, culture in hand. This is the professional germination mix. It is generally just a softer, more peat-like substance that helps your seed germinate because it's not too thick or too overpowering and they're not going to be burnt by too much fertilizer. There are benefits to it. Is it necessary? No. If you look at nature, it doesn't start in the most ideal circumstances, which helps plants grow resistance. I get it. But at the same time, this does give me the best opportunity for success, so you best believe I'm taking that opportunity. As you can see, it's very fine, and it has what looks like perlite mixed in with it. This just helps it keep the moisture. It's a soft growing medium, so the roots of the plants can develop nicely without being under too much strain by hitting bark and little rocks and stuff, which you may find in your compost or in your soil. If these don't come to fruition, but they do have them down there, I'm not opposed to buying the starts, especially things like tomatoes or cucumbers, where it would be a bit late in the season for me to start seeds for them, but they do still have enough of a season to produce. Then I'll definitely go and get starts. There are some things this year that I'm just going to forego growing, like peppers, for instance. Not planting any pepper seeds. They're finicky. They need a longer season. But I was blessed by the fact that our current garden has got peppers in it, and they overwintered beautifully. So we should be getting a very nice paprika harvest shortly, as well as a couple of jalapenos. And we even managed to overwinter one of the Thai dragon chilies. Right, so as you know, I've been growing this little garden for a couple of years now, and it has my absolute heart. I've put in blood, sweat, and tears here, but I'm very limited for space. And I've been given a very unique opportunity in the sense that my mom and my dad have purchased a property for themselves, and on that property there is enough space for me to essentially start over from scratch and create another thriving garden. This one, however, would just be on their homestead property. So I will be traveling back and forth between the two gardens as we transition, and I am planning on taking you along on the journey. So if that is something that you're interested in, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like and share this across your social media platforms because it helps get our name out there. And it shares our channel to more people. So essentially, your Chinas and your Chinas will see our videos, and maybe amongst them, a few people will join along on our journey. But the aim is to go there and start over and essentially with a blank canvas and grow the garden of my dreams. If you're wondering what's going to happen when I'm not here and who's looking after this garden, well, the answer is simple. That's going to be Duncan. He's actually quite an avid gardener himself, and he's taught me a lot of what I know in the garden. So I think he's a little bit excited to have free reign over this garden where I'm not micromanaging him. I think he enjoys this space, so I think it'll definitely be well taken care of. Plus, it does feed him and me, so a lot of what we eat will still come out of this garden. We'll just harvest and take it one way or bring something from that side here when we hopefully have an abundance of produce. But for the most part, this garden I'm not too worried about because it is pretty established and it has a very good custodian looking after it. Okay, so the first seeds I'm going to be planting out are my loofah seeds. I'm going to do 3 of those. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure if this even has enough of a season, and I don't know what or how the seasons react at the homestead garden. What I do know, however, is that they're not going to grow unless I try. So I'm going to give it a shot. If they don't make it, they don't make it. But if they do, hopefully we'll have abundance of loofahs, and that in turn will save us a little bit of cash. Right, then I'm going to go with my Ford Hook Swiss Giant. Again, I can't stop singing its praises. I love Swiss chard, and this is just a particularly good variety to grow. So I'm going to do a tray of 6 of the Ford Hook. I'm going to start with these mixed pole beans. I've got 2 containers here because they are mixed and I just wanted to get as many different varieties as possible. So I'm going to plant 3 beans per container. Let's go with these. These are green noodle beans. Apparently they're a climbing bean and they make really long beans. I got these from one of my friends on Instagram. So I'm going to do 3 of these. I'm going to add some of this seed starting mix just to fill this container slightly. I'll do it for all of these bean varieties. Okay, this is the lazy housewife. They can probably tolerate going straight into the soil, but just for safety, I'm just going to mix this in and keep the soil looser for them. 3 of those. These do get pretty large. I'm quite familiar with them and they are a really good producer, but you do have to be mindful that they get stringy once they get a bit too big. Right, next one is amethyst French dwarf beans. So I'm assuming they're going to be very similar to this, but they may be slightly more red in color. We'll see. I'm not particularly fans of the purple beans per se. These ones are cool to grow, especially if you've got kids, because they're purple and when you cook them, they actually go back to being green. But we haven't had very abundant harvests off of them yet. And they really aren't the biggest of bushing beans. That being said, I feel like they've got more to offer. I'm just missing the secret sauce that makes these work. Just be mindful when you are planting your beans into these plastic seed starting trays. Your beans only have this depth for their roots to grow in, so they are going to outgrow these containers fairly quickly or become root bound. So you're probably going to have to transplant them sooner. Just be mindful of the container that you're planting in so that you can monitor your seedlings, repot them or plant them out before anything dodgy happens. Let's do our tomatoes next. So these are blue cream berry tomatoes, and they are a very flavorful tomato and they produce pretty prolifically. I have grown them before and I actually really enjoyed them. I'm just thinking for myself at least that I might not have a full season to grow a large tomato like a beefsteak, because the plant will have to establish and be able to hold the fruit it's going to produce. However, with a cherry tomato, they grow much faster. So the likelihood of it coming up to a point where it can produce in what's left of my season is greater. So I'm just going to plant some of these cherry tomato varieties and hope for the best.